What is the purpose of life? The most frequent answer to this question is happiness. The purpose of life is to be happy. Is it just me, or does this sound a little selfish? Is our greatest mission in life really limited to finding ways to enjoy ourselves and have a great time? Could be, but I'd much rather think that this is only an outcome of striving to achieve other, more meaningful stuff, which would better fit the role of a mission in the grand scheme of things. I'm not going to attempt to articulate an answer to the purpose of life question, because I don't know it, and it might be different for everyone anyway. But I'm just saying that happiness sounds too vague and shallow to be the answer to such a powerful and important question. Also, pursuing what the majority believes happiness is can actually limit your potential and have detrimental effects on your growth. So in the next few minutes, we're going to see why that's the case and what are the alternatives. Welcome back everybody, my name is Robert, and today I'll do my best to guide you towards finding your own recipe for success while still enjoying the journey. By the end of this video, you'll find out the two major problems that chasing happiness has, and you'll have a clearer idea of how a compelling and suitable purpose should look like. Let's get started. The first problem with seeking happiness is that it shifts your focus towards the wrong things. Think about it. It's only when we're experiencing moments of sadness, hopelessness, or mental distress that we find ourselves longing for external comfort. The most common things that we believe will help us overcome the negative feelings are X amount of money, a lover, a house, a diploma, all extrinsic stuff. The problem here is that we're fooling ourselves to think that the reason why we're sad is because we don't have one of these things and we can't do anything about it without them. This kind of attitude is what's stopping us from starting to take the actual steps to solve the issues. Seeking happiness is basically a form of escapism. We avoid doing the hard work because we believe that the solutions are somewhere out there and we don't have access to them. In reality, this is just an excuse to procrastinate. Trust me, I've been there many times. Trying to get happiness from external sources has two different approaches, and we're gonna illustrate them using two characters, Jack and Julia. Jack is the type of guy who would do anything to have a bright future, even if that means sacrificing the present. Basically, 30 years from now, he wants to be really happy, so all he thinks about is how to make his retirement most enjoyable. He's taking delayed gratification too seriously, if you ask me. In order to achieve his goal, Jack figured that he must spend all of his free time working because he needs money for a nice house. Also, he's become very active on dating apps because he has to find his future wife, otherwise it will all be for nothing. A common phrase Jack is often telling to himself is, "I can't relax and enjoy life until I have this, this and that." I think I've made it pretty obvious what the problem is. Jack is too focused on the destination and completely ignores the journey. His intentions aren't bad, sure, but the execution is. He misses out on a lot of joy and fun because he thinks that being happy means having a house, a wife and a lot of money. But there's so much more to life than that, isn't it? So we should fully enjoy the things that we do have and party like rock stars every day, right? Well, let's see Julia's story. Julia's wrist tattoo describes her perfectly. Carpe diem. This is her guidance in life. She kind of neglects everything that involves personal or professional growth because she uses every bit of her free time trying to create lifelong memories. For example, she goes to all of the cool parties in town and she often meets her friends outside for drinks or other fun activities. Basically, her way of seeking happiness is no different than seeking pleasure at any moment of the day. Why does she do this? Because life is unpredictable, and if she doesn't enjoy it now, she might never get the chance to. Being like Julia means only doing the easy stuff, and we all know that it won't be too rewarding. This kind of hedonic lifestyle is a recipe for disaster in the long run. The positive feelings that Julia's feeling in the moment will very quickly turn into unfulfillment, which is going to haunt her every time she's alone with herself. Living the present moment to the fullest is great, but having no direction in life isn't. Goals are extremely important, and figuring out a plan to achieve them is crucial. Maybe she should meet Jack. Both of them would have a lot to learn from each other. The problem with both of these scenarios was that seeking happiness, either right now or in the long term, creates distance between you and your inner self, and in time, you're gonna become more and more disconnected from your core desires. It is indeed a form of escapism, running away from your internal struggles and replacing them with immediate gratification or with the hope that the future will be better. So what is the solution then? Well, it's actually quite simple, but not so easy to implement. Stop looking outside for comfort and shift your focus internally. In other words, replace the need for happiness with a desire for fulfillment. This is a feeling that you have much more control over, and it can be acquired by creating the kind of life that you want from the ground up. Think about it this way. Chasing happiness is like wandering around the world and looking for the perfect house to buy. Seeking fulfillment, on the other hand, is like building your house from the foundation. Sure, it's a lot harder, but you get to build it exactly how you want it. The end result will be more meaningful, and it will keep you satisfied much longer than the house in the first scenario. So start looking inward and figure out how you would want your ideal life to look like. Who do you want to be 5 years from now? What skills are necessary in order to become that person? How would you like to spend your time every day? Then ask yourself if your current routine, habits, or beliefs are aligned with this vision. If yes, great, keep doing what you're doing. If not, it means you've got some building to do. And don't wait for the perfect moment to start, because it will never come. Start now. Trust me, you've got all it takes to take the first step. Before moving on to the next problem of seeking happiness, let's take a quick look at Nietzsche's view on this matter. What is happiness? The feeling that power increases, that a resistance is overcome. Joy is only a symptom of the feeling of attained power. One does not strive for joy. Joy accompanies. In other words, positive feelings and emotions emerge from overcoming difficulties and becoming more competent. An athlete is going to be happier when he becomes stronger. A teacher will be more fulfilled as she enhances her ability to educate. Doing the hard and meaningful stuff will always pay off big time, both mentally and emotionally. And the Stoics had the same opinion. If you accomplish something good with hard work, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures. The second problem with seeking happiness is that it's a temporary emotion. It comes and goes very quickly because it loses its intensity over time, although you can experience this cycle regularly. If we had to represent happiness on a graph, it would look something like this. Of course, the distance between peaks may vary, but the main thing is that happiness is very fluctuating, and trying to have a consistent happy state will only lead to frustration and the lack of motivation to be productive. We, as humans, are designed to adapt to any circumstances or environment that we're placed in. Sure, it may take some time, but we eventually learn how to cope with any situation. And this is a double-edged sword. If you're going through a tough time, you'll get used to it and learn how to overcome the difficulties. But this happens for positive scenarios as well, meaning that you become very quickly accustomed to the positive feelings of the great things in your life, like a house or a car. If you're constantly pursuing these kinds of feelings, know that the chase will never end. As soon as an emotion loses its intensity, you'll start craving for the next one like an addict yearns for his shot. For example, this is why rich people never seem to have enough money. The amount of cash they have dictates their lifestyle, like the cars they drive or the destinations they choose for their vacations. The problem is that they become used to this level of luxury. It becomes their new normal or baseline, so it gets boring after a while. But in order to have an even more extravagant lifestyle, they need more money, so the chase begins once again. The romantic scene is no different, especially these days. When some people have problems in their relationships, they think that a new partner will solve all of the issues and shortcomings. And they might, but not for long, because the new interaction will most likely follow the same patterns and fail once more. Both of these situations have the same solution to the temporality problem, which is to pursue meaning, purpose, and fulfillment instead of happiness. The graph for fulfillment looks something like this. As you can see, it's much more stable than happiness because it fluctuates less over time. Having a purpose and meaningful goals will make you satisfied and proud of who you are and where you're heading to in life. Focus on something bigger than yourself, something that can be useful or beneficial beyond the scope of your own life. The best way to do this is to engage in acts of service, like teaching others, volunteering, or helping people through your work, passions and hobbies. Think about it this way. If you're a painter, you're not only painting because it feels good. You do it to share your work with others. Maybe you'll inspire someone to pick up this hobby, or you'll simply make someone's day better with your art. If you find a way to become fulfilled with your routine, job, health, relationships, business and so on, it will become your default state. When happiness arises, great, you get to fully enjoy it. But you shouldn't let the lack of happiness bring you down. In other words, if you're not happy, it doesn't mean you have to be sad. You can simply enter your default state of fulfillment and satisfaction and continue to work towards your purpose while still enjoying every step of the way. So, as a brief conclusion, I strongly believe that happiness shouldn't be our main goal in life because it isn't permanent, and chasing it makes you lose track of the activities, habits, and goals that can build a fulfilling life from the bottom up. Happiness will certainly accompany this type of lifestyle, but you'll get to experience it in short and periodic bursts as it is a very fluctuating emotion. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. They do help a lot. Thank you for staying until the end, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye!